Hello, faggot lovers everywhere. I've a message.
Okay, now today I've got another tobacco review for you, as well as a history of the company behind this tobacco. And today it's a Gawith Hoggarth tobacco. But this tobacco we're going to review is not in the usual Gawith Hoggarth Lakelandy flaky style, but rather in the American style, and that is Gawith and Hoggarth's American Blend CC. I believe this used to be called Coffee and Cream, but because of these draconian laws now surrounding tobacco trading, where the certain words are not allowed to be used as descriptors for tobacco, it is now called Gawith Hoggarth CC. And another thing I'd like to point out about this is these gory images that the government insists on adorning our tobacco tins with. They're not very nice, are they? But this one's rather cool. It looks like a Marvel supervillain. Look at that. Don't know how well the camera's picking it up, but it really does look like a Marvel supervillain, so that's rather good. Now, right out of the tin, I do like the presentation of this, because you open up the tin, you've got a little card insert there, which shows vintage sketch of the Gawith Hoggarth tobacco factory, and right away you're hit with the aroma from this tobacco. That coffee and caramel aroma is thick on the nose. Now this is Burley and Virginia tobaccos, which has undergone the Cavendish process, because Cavendish, of course, is not a tobacco variety, but rather a process of tobacco. It was named after Sir Stephen Cavendish, I believe, and I'll give you the history of that in another video. There we are, as an idea for a future video. What is Cavendish tobacco? So this is a Cavendish blend. Now when you open the tin, you're immediately hit by that delicious aroma. And it looks way too moist in the tin, but it's actually not. I'm going to try and tip this over to get it to the camera without. So there you can see it, look, but it looks overly moist. It almost looks oily even, but it really isn't. And you can smoke this straight from the tin. In fact, I have had several bowls of this ready for this review, trying to pick out certain nuances of flavour so I can fully describe them. So the Falcon is ready for flight with the handsome carbon fibre bowl there. But before we spark up, retire to the bothy of broken dreams to partake in some Gawith Hoggarth CNC. Let me give you a little history of the Gawith Hoggarth company.
We are dealing here with smoky matters of great importance as we travel to the wind-swept hills of Kendal, where time stands still and your tobacco might smell faintly of rose-scented grandma's soap. The start of the Gawith family tobacco business and its association with Kendal starts with a man called Thomas Harrison. Will have been the great-great-great-great-great-grandfather of Critch and Rachel, who currently run the Gawith Hoggarth. He became interested in the tobacco trade back in 1792 when he went to Glasgow, Scotland to learn the trade, returning with some second-hand mill machinery to grind tobacco. In 1805 he set up a tobacco manufacture with a chemist called Thomas Brocklebank in Kendal. Harrison and Brocklebank tobacco manufacturers. By the 18th century, Kendal had become an important trading town, especially for tobacco and snuff production. Tobacco from North America was brought into the ports close to Kendal, such as Whitehaven, Workington and Maryport. Kendal already had a nationwide woolen trade as well as tanning, leather and shoe trade, so the town had a good network of transport routes and facilities. Over time, much of the tobacco trade was lost to Glasgow, but Kendal still had the distinct advantage of being on the packhorse route to England and Scotland, and the town became a staging point. At one point, Whitehaven was second only to London for the quantity of tobacco imports. Following Thomas Harrison's death, a sad event especially for him, his son of the same name took over, and around 1830 the family bought the premises at Lowther Street as a family-owned and factory. Thomas Harrison II had two daughters, and Jane married Samuel Gawith. Following her father's death, Jane and her family moved to Lowther Street to work in the family trade, which became known as Brocklebank and Gawith Tobacco and Snuff Manufacturers. When Mr. Brocklebank kicked the bucket, and Jane's sister Anne did likewise, Jane and Samuel Gawith became the owners of the company. Jane Gareth died in 1864, and the following year Samuel Gawith died, leaving 7 surviving children. The oldest boy, Samuel II, was 22 at the time and already working in the business, as was the youngest son, John Edward. The company was left to 3 trustees: Samuel Gawith II, Henry Hoggarth, who was a friend of the senior Samuel Gawith and lived next door at number 29 Lowther Street, and John Illington, who was a travelling sales representative for the company. In 1867, John Lingworth pissed off to start his own tobacco firm, also in Kendal. Now here's a little bit where things get a bit soap opera-ish, very dramatic. When Samuel Gawith passed away, and the company splits like the flakes in the sun. One side, Samuel Gawith Limited, the other becomes Gawith Hoggarth & Co., named after the Hoggarth family, who married into the tobacco biz like it was an aristocratic arranged union. Love, maybe not. But this was Kendal twist, and it needed someone to roll it. Gawith Hoggarth made its name by sticking to Victoria-era equipment and methods, which they still use to the present day. That's right, they press and slice their flakes with 19th century gear. Imagine trying to do a text with a butter churn. Now that's dedication. Gawith Hoggarth are also the creators of the infamous Lakeland essence, a topping so divisive it sparked more internet arguments than pineapple on pizza. Some say it's floral, others say it's soap. I say it's a Victorian fever dream that is absolutely delightful. Today, Gawith Hoggarth has been reunited with Samuel Gawith, and they are once again one company. And they remain a small independent company with a fiercely loyal following, especially among those who like their flakes dense, their twists oily, and the room notes very, very complex. And while some blends may take a bit of taming, they reward the patient smoker with rich, earthy, sometimes perfumed complexity. It's tobacco with character, and sometimes with characters.
Hello, faggot lovers everywhere. I've a message for you from Birdseye. Birdseye faggots will appeal to your whole family. They've made them with lashings of gravy, but they've gone easy on the spice because kids don't like them too spicy, apparently. Birdseye even suggests that people who don't like faggots could enjoy these. They live in hope. You know, they could be right.
As I watch the sun descending and the birds fly home to rest, in the hush when day is ending, that's the hour when I feel blessed. Smoking my pipe, smoking my pipe.
Here I am in the bothy of Broken Dreams, and I'm accompanying this pipe, the Gawith Hoggarth C&C, with an IPA, Green King, which is a session strength IPA. Nice, I do like IPAs. Okay, let's get this pipe smouldering properly. As I say, the moisture level in the tin is just right. It doesn't really need any drying out, although a couple of minutes won't do it, I suppose, but it does look rather oily. It reminds me of American brand I used to smoke. I think it was from Cornell and Deal, or it may have been Sutcliffe. I'm not sure. It was called Multi Dolce. That was very oily, and this looks similar to that, but it's not quite as oily.
Like a whisper through the cornfield comes a gentle evening breeze. At the doorway of my cottage I recall old memories.
You've got a fantastic room note with this caramel coffee. And it does taste something like a latte. Got a strong coffee taste to it. the weather's changed. We've just got over a massive heat wave. It's unbearably hot a couple of days, but it's heavy winds today and torrential rain. Pretty much what we're used to over here.
Smoking my pipe, smoking my pipe. Those far-off places beyond the blue.
As I say, this style of tobacco is not what Gawith Hoggarth. I'm going to just get a bit of moisture in the bowl there, so I'm popping the Falcon bowl off, pushing that up through. I think I might have packed it slightly too tight, not too tighty. But this is not the type of tobacco that Gawith Hoggarth is renowned for. It's not that Lakeland style. It's one of their American styles. It's very nice. Better draw now. It was packed too tight, which is one of the benefits of the Falcon. You can just pop the bowl off carefully mid smoke and loosen up the bottom of the tobacco, and it's going to draw well now.
Familiar faces that once I knew. I recall those days behind me, and
So there's none of that Lakeland top in, that floral essence, which some people call soap on this at all. It's got none of that. It's an aromatic in the American style, and that's what it is, and that's what it delivers on. It's a lovely taste. I mean, I'm not a lover of aromatics. I prefer more English-centric blends, but this is nice, and I do enjoy an aromatic from time to time. I smoke a lot of Clan, but it almost seems unfair to call Clan an aromatic because it's its own thing. It's quite unique. This though is very good.
happiness they meant. Every sundown you will find me with a heart that is content.
It's creamy smoke.
Smoking my pipe, smoking my pipe.
Coffee being the main flavour. Latte. Latte with a caramel shot.
You remember the first time we met? You were the only one in that railway carriage who didn't like me smoking my dear old pipe.
And I mentioned earlier Morto Dolce. That was very gloopy. This is not gloopy in any way. And now that I've released it, now that it's not packed too tight, it's smoking really well.
Compromise, I opened the window. What a lovely surprise you gave me on our wedding day. A tobacco jar. How I remember.
I was talking to an old woman in work today, and she asked me if I had any pets. I said, I've got a goldfish. Then she said, hobbies? I said, well, it likes to swim. This is a mild, flavorful smoke. The topping used dominates. I'm not getting any traditional tobacco taste at all. I'm getting that coffee, that creamy coffee, caramelly type of vibe from this. It'll never be an all-day smoke for me, but it'll be something that I can enjoy from time to time. And I'll probably, when I finish the tin I've got in the house, I probably will buy another to keep it in my rotation. But a tin of this, a 2-ounce tin of this, would probably last me maybe a month, because I will probably have the odd bowl here and there rather than smoking it fully regularly. But that's not to say it's not nice. It is very nice. It's just not to my usual style. I mean, that Pessy Canoe Latakia 40 that I reviewed back last week, I've already gone through 2 tins of that. I love that stuff. That's more to my style. This is a nice change of pace. Change is as good as the rest, as they say. Variety is the spice of life.
Is drawing near. Time's old ever-moving finger closes one more day, but yet, while such thoughts as mine can linger, I'll have nothing to regret. Smoking my pipe, smoking my pipe, Smoking my
Gawith
pipe.
Hoggarth C&C, previously called either coffee and caramel or coffee and cream. It's damn fine. And why not leave a comment below? Tell me what your favourite Gawith Hoggarth tobacco is, or any Lakeland love stories you want to share, or any Lakeland horror stories. Anyway, come back soon for another pipe smoking video. Bye for now. Cheers.